Welcome to Red Carpet Celebrity Lanes in Milwaukee for the 37th consecutive season on Channel 4's Bowling with the Champs. Good morning. I'm Hank Stoddard. Jeff Riggles is with me, as he is each Sunday morning, providing expert color commentary, former champion in our show. And today, we continue in the first round of the men's division, our usual stepladder format on Bowling with the Champs. And, Jeff, we have 4 bowlers here today and a lot of contrast in style.
Yeah, we've got Steve Schultz, newcomer, straight ball player, Brian Burgess, and Ron Scheucher, both turn it up pretty good. And, of course, we have lefty and Jim Miller. So get to see just about the whole gamut of bowling styles today.
We're going to introduce them to you right now. Our number 4 seed today is Steve Schultz from Janesville, and he'll bowl in the opening game against Brian Burgess of Fond du Lac. The winner of that game will advance into Game 2 against Jim Miller, Jr. of Milwaukee, and the winner of that one goes on to meet our top seed, Ron Scheucher of New Berlin. So we have 3 games coming up here for you this morning. One bowler will advance to the next round. And, Jeff, we have only one newcomer.
Yeah, just Steve. He's the only newcomer, but he didn't seem too nervous or bothered by the whole thing. I think the most important thing is going to be who gets lined into the pocket and throw those strikes. And in practice, it really looked like Jim Miller had a good shot. He might be a favorite here today, being that he's the only lefty and was able to strike. His shot probably won't change at all, so he might be the favorite today.
All right, game number 1 comes up right after you watch this.
Bowling with the Champs is brought to you in part by B&G Golf, Bowling, and Racket Sports, your number 1 choice for the best in pro line equipment and accessories.
This winter season, when you or a loved one need ambulance service,
We start bowling here at Red Carpet Celebrity Lanes. Final introduction of George Vales, our official scorekeeper and the anchorman on the George's Wilson House bowling team, an outstanding team that bowls on Monday nights, of which I'm a non-outstanding member. We're on lanes 69 and 70, and Steve Schultz starts it off. He's the 4th seed here today, going up against Brian Burgess. Steve is from Janesville.
In the contemporary, down and in.
And a little kick gets the 7-pin out of there.
I should say that. I meant to say the non-contemporary down and in. Brian's more what you'll see with a contemporary bowler. The big power rolling ball hooks quite a bit more than Steve's.
Here's Brian Burgess from Fond du Lac.
3rd year on the show.
And right in the 1-3 pocket he carries on lane 70.
And Brian's crowd, first we'll take a look at Brian's approach here. Watch the wrist position with that high backswing, deep knee bend. Look it straight up through the ball. That's how you get all that power.
Back live to Steve Schultz, and he leaves a 5-pin. My ball's fairly similar to his. I leave some 5-pins for the same reason, probably.
Yeah, you can just see the age difference here. We've got about, I think, 5 years between these two guys. 3 years, I guess, but the difference in when they came up the eras, Brian learned more on the urethane lane finishes, Steve on the lacquer. Down and in was more of the game.
Brian with a double. And there's his girlfriend, Beyonce. Glenn Skenner, our producer, tells me he knows more than I do.
That's
Beyonce
Wendy.
Means you're going to get married, doesn't it? That's Wendy. There's Steve's wife there, and it's Jean Schultz. And Steve and Jean have 2 children, Stevie, who's 6, and Zachary, who is 4. Steve's had a 300 game, the 779 series. Biggest thrill in bowling, making Bowling with the Champs this year. Oh, and he deserved a little better than that, 4-9.
Not something you'd expect too often with the ball going as straight as Steve's. The 4-9 usually comes more when the ball dives through the pocket and goes to the left of the 9-pin. Really a tough break there.
Brian in there in the 1-3 again, but that 6 just flew by the 10.
Couple of bad breaks.
And an open for Steve as he gets the 4-pin, leaves the 9. So he's got 47 in the 3rd frame. But his opponent brings in this spare. He'll have 49 in the 2nd and a spare up in the 3rd, and he's got that spare.
And would have been the 7-10.
Yeah, if he'd had the 7 there, would have got it.
But see, that pin hardly ever bounces out when the 7-pin's up there with it. When it's not there, it'll bounce all over the place.
Steve trying to bounce back from an open. And another 5.
That's Steve's corner person. That's Tom Jones, not the singer. He's the proprietor at Playmore Bowl in Janesville, one of the great houses we used to go to on the old non-pro circuit. Had some good times at Playmore.
Brian Burgess apparently has a shot here this morning. He's been right in that 1-3 all 4 frames.
And we'll take a look at Steve's approach. This is the traditional bowling style you see among guys who came up back in the lacquer days. Down and in, no big wrist flip, pretty much a straight ball. You see the hand ends up thumb down. You watch Brian's, when he goes through the ball, his thumb will be up. That's the lift as opposed to just the roll.
But Steve does have a 5-step delivery. Most of the people, we're making him sound ancient here. 30.
No, just what you learn to bowl on. Tougher
Yeah.
lane conditions, probably lacquer.
Jean has a serious look on her face, as I guess she might have, because her husband is trailing here, and there's another
Ouch.
10.
You know, he's down. Steve is down 23, but he could be down a lot more. Of course, he could be striking too. He's been in the pocket every ball.
Yeah, a couple of 5 pins, a 4-9.
But Brian's got 2 ringing 10 pins on lane 70. Brian's kind of out for a little redemption. Third time on the show. Wants to get a little higher than he's gotten in 1985-86. He lost to Mark McDowell in the quarterfinals. Nothing to be ashamed of there, but if he wouldn't have had to pair up with Mark, he might have been able to go a long way. Of course, Mark finished second to Tom Shem that year.
Let me ask you something about those ringing 10 pins where you leave the 6 flies around the 10. If you're an opponent, and his next round opponent, of course, will dictate where he finishes, I guess what I'm asking is, are some lanes more conducive to leaving ringing 10 pins than others?
Sure, because say your ball's breaking just a little bit too late, comes in behind that pin, or maybe there's a rack. Lane 70's rack is a little tighter, where the 1-3 is positioned as opposed to 69.
Because on 69, he's carrying everything back into the pits.
His ball's finishing a little bit earlier, so it's higher in the pocket on 69 than it is on 70.
So if you're Jim Miller Jr. coming in, do you kind of watch that and say, hey, I think I'll have him finish on 70?
Well, you know, if he goes on and leaves 4 of them on that lane out of 5 shots, you know, I'd certainly consider that I'd like to have Brian finish on that lane if it obviously is his worst lane.
Well, we'll see if he can solve that 10-pin problem he's had here on 70.
He's certainly got a good shot. Oh,
Well, this time he leaves a 9.
he's a solid 9. I mean, he's got 7 balls dead flush, and he's only shooting 209 pace.
Yeah, he could be on a 300 pace
Easily.
And, you know, Steve hasn't been bowling all that badly either. He
Steve
can't
has
catch any breaks.
7 shots in the pocket. They aren't quite as impressive as Brian's, but certainly the lane conditions are out there to hit the pocket to get a big score if you can get some carry. And that's where I was talking about Jim Miller maybe having a little bit of an advantage in that, you know, it's just him on his side, and here we may have a little bit of breakdown with the right-handers playing each other. The left side be just a little bit smoother. That small, minuscule advantage could be the difference in carrying some of these hits for Jim versus these two guys.
Steve Schultz on 70. Steve from Janesville, as I said, he works for Cargill Incorporated, the Nutrina Feeds division. Plays volleyball, golf, softball, fishing, and basketball. In addition to bowling, he's a busy guy. And there's a strike for Steve.
He got the 5 out that time. Definitely not out of the match.
Brian Burgess is into softball and golf and volleyball. Another strike for Brian. He's had 15 300 games. 5 800 series with his highest in 824. You mentioned 824, that always comes to mind Jace Peterson's 824 on Bowling with the Champs. He was here last week as a corner person for his brother Jeff. I didn't get to talk to Jace in any great length until after the show, and he was telling me he had just got back, he and his wife, from Amsterdam. They won a trip on Bowling with the Champs for a week in Amsterdam.
And we'll watch the 6-pin snap up and just nudge the 10-pin over.
Anyway, Jason and his wife said they had a great time over there in Amsterdam. Wonderful time, and we're hoping to give away a trip this year to Jim Glad and Travel Glad.
Well, we've had the certainly the hits by Brian Burgess to have the 300 going. He's got 9 balls flush in the pocket and well in control of this match. Steve let his first shot get away last frame, left a solid head pin, so to speak. But that was after 8 pocket hits. But certainly this match is pretty much in Brian's hands unless something really bizarre would have happened here.
The Petersons visited a diamond mine over in Amsterdam, and his wife got a diamond ring. 1/5 of a carat, not too bad. Jay said worth about $500, so he had a great time. Steve Schultz, not quite.
Bowled a better game than he's going to get for a score. Brian Burgess will go on. Spare strike here would be 218 for Brian. Certainly could have had a lot more than that.
Well, he whistles that ball to the spares, too, doesn't he?
Straight and hard. Could have a great match next game.
Yep, Jim Miller will move in to meet Brian Burgess in game number 2.
The righties against the lefties.
And Brian with that blue hammer he's got. He's certainly done the job, especially on 69. And there's Steve coming through with, right when it's over, a perfect strike, but he gets 183. 218 for Brian Burgess. So Brian will move on to game number 2 against Jim Miller Jr. Stay with us. It's coming up after these brief commercial messages.
This season's champions will each receive a 14-karat gold imported Swiss watch designed by Hussar's House of Fine Diamonds in downtown West Bend. Hussar's, one of the largest importers of quality diamonds and watches in Wisconsin.
Make your life a little easier.
Bear, Red Carpet Lane's representative. And Gloria, we were doing Bowling with the Champs here a couple of weeks ago, and I saw all these people from Easy Painter having a great time. The Red Carpet Centers can provide excellent opportunities for company parties.
We have a new promotion called Rent a Red Carpet, and any companies out there that want to have an outing for their employees and that, we can provide the facilities for bowling, tournament bowling. We've got rooms for food, service of food. We've got dancing. We've got video games. It's an afternoon of fun for the entire family.
Okay, and there's also a lot of open bowling available these days, too, right?
Yes, there is. You can check with your favorite Red Carpet Bowling Center, and they'll give you the times that are available for open play.
I know all those people from Easy Painter enjoyed themselves, so talk to the boss and tell him to rent a red carpet. And if you want to find out the number, Gloria's going to give it to you right now.
358-BOWL.
All right, Gloria Bear from Red Carpet Lanes. We have game number 2 coming up on our stepladder final right after this.
Paradise awaits on the tropical island of Oahu, Hawaii, with one awarded in each division, men and women, for rolling a perfect game. Our winners will fly via Continental Airlines for a 5-night stay at the spectacular Sheraton Makaha Resort and Country Club. The Sheraton Makaha is your personal oasis for sports activities on Oahu. Relax and enjoy horseback riding on stunning mountain trails, hiking and jogging trails, tennis courts, Olympic-sized pool, and the island's highest-rated 18-hole championship golf course. Yet minutes away from the white sand beaches of Makaha. Presented by Travel Glad, home of the one and only show plane to New York and London in conjunction with Continental Airlines. One airline can make a difference.
You can count on Sears for great Christmas values.
Moves in to bowl against Brian Burgess in the second game of our stepladder elimination tournament today. Jim, a left-hander, bowling against Brian. He's been on our show before. Son of a famous Milwaukee bowler, Jim Miller Sr., who was also on our show back a few years ago. And it looks as if now Jim, I think Jim has got Brian finishing on 70. Where Brian did not have as much success as he did on 69 in game 1.
A little trouble carrying on 70 for Brian.
Leaves 3 of them up there with that one. That one just didn't finish at the end, didn't come into the pocket.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit quick with that shot. Didn't quite get it into the roll. I think we're going to have a heck of a match here. Both these guys were really hitting the pocket, striking a lot in their practice balls. And, of course, Brian in the first game was flush pretty much every shot the whole game.
Difficult spare.
Good.
He's got it. coming in from the left side. Gets 9. We've had several left-handers on our show this year. I'm just trying to remember, did anyone make them? Yeah, we have
Andy
one.
Kellerman
Yeah,
won.
Andy
He was
Kellerman.
top seed in one of the early second or third. I think it was third show of the year. And that is, I believe, Tim Puchak. Apologize if that pronunciation isn't just right.
You better be right. He's a big dude.
Yeah. Jim said he wanted to let him corner. He was a big bowling fan. I wanted to get him down.
Watch Jim get there alive.
We'll watch a real familiar approach here. A la Marshall Holm. Look at that cupped wrist, but watch the slide. He slides into his shot. Danny Wiseman, Marshall Holman, and really has the revs on the ball.
Well, back at the line. Doesn't look like he's much danger of fouling it. Oh, look at that lead.
Ooh. Not that bad a shot. A little bit high. 4-9 range high, and just doesn't get any pin action at all, and ends up with a 4-7, 9-10. Makeable split.
Pretty to watch when you make it.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've seen people get 3 out of 4 here somehow. Got to get the right pin action.
Get 2.
Yep, didn't quite get it over there. Big opening for Jim Miller.
His first open of the morning, right? He went through game number 1 clean.
The big revs.
And good mixing ball there for Jim Miller. They all go down. Jim Miller's mother, I believe.
Yep. Like that last shot. It's amazing how many times this year we've seen guys bowl good and then get that break between games and come back and just be a little bit out of rhythm starting their next game. That's a better shot. And that's his dad, Ray, Brian's corner person.
Yeah, between games, Ray went over and got himself a beer there and brought a glass of water for Brian.
Got a hook.
The same lead that he had in 70 the first frame. Yeah.
And he was striking in practice, so I think what might happen is get that start. You get a little more adrenaline, a little more speed on the ball, just not quite finishing like he was in practice. Routine easy spare, though.
And he's got it. He doesn't really flatten out the ball for the spares.
No.
Get them to fill out the form. Bowling average 231.9. Jim Miller wrote in.
Yeah, and then he also put on their highest sanctioned series 900. I don't think so. I think he's having a little fun with us there. In tournaments, he's won all of them.
Maybe his name's Glenn Allison.
Oh, boy.
4-9.
Ouch. Much better shot than the 4-7, 9-10. A really bad break for Brian Burgess. We've seen it a lot this year, though, that 4-9.
We even saw it from Steve Schultz, from whom we wouldn't expect it because of his bowling delivery. And Jim leaves in the 1, rather.
At 4-9, one of the things that's come with the nuclear bombs, as they call them, the high-hooking urethane balls, that's got a chance. Boy.
Just hooked by at the last moment. I thought he was going to make that, but it's another open. And he's opened twice on lane 70 as a result of splits. So Jim Miller, if he makes his spare, can increase his lead.
Not what I expected or predicted this game at all. Not that they're throwing bad shots. Just some...
You expected more strikes. Well, we've still got quite a way to go here. 6 frames left.
That's back in.
Lane 69 with much more time to Brian Burgess.
And it's not like he's been throwing real bad shots on lane 70 either. He just hasn't been able to strike very well. And watch this ball just shoot the 5-pin over into the 4-7 area. Goodbye.
Back live to Jim Miller. Got a way to come, and it comes, but the 10 is there. He had the 7-10 for a moment.
Yeah, he's just not getting the ball to hook up on lane 70 the way he wants it. But, heck, he can't be upset. He's got a 30-pin lead, and he only has 1 strike in 4 frames.
Looking on from a distance, well, that's looking on at close range, his corner person, but looking on from a distance is Ron Scheucher, who will move in for our title game. Meet the winner of this one. Well, Jim throws that hook at the spares, too, but he's been extremely accurate with it so far.
That's a lot more common among left-handers, I think, to throw the hook at spares. I really don't know why, but if you look out on tour, a lot of the guys, Mike Albee and Jess Stavrik, a lot of those guys, not as common as for right-handers throwing that straight ball. A lot of righties throw the straight hard shot at just about everything.
I'd be curious to find out why. Well, there he's got 70 solved that time, and it gives him a double. He's got a couple of opens to bounce back from. Brian Burgess.
But he's cut the lead back to 20, and at least he's coming up on his good lane.
4-7 on lane 69 for Jim Miller.
Boy, he was striking like crazy in practice, too. It's funny how you turn on those lights, and it can make that little bit of difference in your release. It can be the difference between a ton of strikes and nines.
Reading in Bowling Magazine that the FIQ's coming back to the United States. 1995, that's the World Amateur Tournament, going to be held on the ABC lanes in Reno. And we'll probably follow the ABC tournament in Reno that year. And the last time it was held in the United States was in 1971 right here in Milwaukee. And a bowler named Butch Luther from Racine did extremely well. Yeah.
Former teammate.
Did extremely well in that. I remember that.
And I'll put a prediction now that they'll break every record in the book, because that will be another AMF year for the lanes at the ABC tournament. So it'll probably be another one of the high-scoring years.
There's a three-bagger for Brian Burgess, who's fighting from behind.
Let's see, we're at 89, 91, 93, 95. Yeah, that'll be another AMF year for FIQ.
So we're on there's only two lanes manufacturers, AMF and Brunswick. We're on Brunswick here at the Red Carpet Celebrity Lanes. And a baby split for Jim Miller. And you're saying that AMF are higher scoring lanes?
Well, it just seems like they both put out a plastic lanes, and we have wood lanes here, so I wouldn't be relating to this, but it seems like they put the same shot on every year, and for some reason the AMF lanes score a lot higher than the Brunswick lanes. I don't know if anyone's ever given a real scientific explanation for that. It seems like the AMF plastic system just carries so much better than the Brunswick one. And if that holds up, 95 may break a lot of FIQ records. Nice
Good
cover.
spare by Jim Miller. And with that three-bagger up there for Brian Burgess, how do we stand in the difference in score?
Well, basically, one more strike here, Brian will pull even, depending on count. Right now, he's down 6.
Would have been even if Jim hadn't made that split conversion. Going for 4 in a row.
Good shot.
Whatever was his problem on 70, he appears, at least for now, to have solved it. Jim Miller coming into that pocket. Not quite. He's got the railroad.
He's got the light high going. It seems like he throws it out a little more, moves in a bit, and he comes up light, leaves a 3-pin combination, and he moves out a little bit, and he's gone Brooklyn or high each shot. And he was really striking in practice, too.
Some bowlers have criticized this format. They say in one game, and, you can't prove much in one game, and if you get off to a bad start, you're out of it. And good spare. Jim has held his lead here by getting spares. What I was going to say was, I think Brian is proving that even if you make a couple of early mistakes or bad breaks, you can come back, and he's certainly come back here.
He's got the lead now. Can extend to a 16-pin lead with another strike here.
Looking for 5 in a row? I don't think so. No, he had that lead earlier.
Yeah, too fast. He really zinged that ball, had a lot of adrenaline going, I'm sure, and just got away from him, didn't finish into the pocket. Tough spare here, very choppable.
And I hurt him a bit on count, too, with leaving 3 up there.
If he covers this, he'll have a 3-pin lead. Not an easy spare. He's got it, though. Nice cover.
So, by the margin of 3 small pins, Brian Burgess in the lead. The match still very much up for grabs. Jim Miller, been studying that scoreboard. He's aware of that, coming up the ball on lane 70.
Chance to take control.
No.
Jim, even though he was down 3 pins, could have struck there and set himself up to strike out in the 10th and win the game. Lock Brian Burgess out. Now with this spare here, and same thing he left last frame, the 3-9. If he can cover this again, he'll be down 5 pins, and we'll come down to the 10th frame battle.
So this is the 9th frame. We're going into the 10th. Reminder, Red Carpet Lanes provides additional prize money each week. $50 for a win, $25 for a loss.
Got a hook.
And that
Didn't
one
get
only
the
got
front
the back
pin.
one. And an open in the 9th frame. And Brian Burgess poised to try to jump all over that bad frame by Jim Miller. And so Brian, first one to bowl the 10th frame.
Strike on this ball is a winner.
Lane
good.
7,
That's
right
enough.
there. Brian Burgess has come from behind. 28 down he was in the 4th frame. And it came roaring back. And now they fall. As we see so often, Jim had a 6-pin staying up there, and something hit it from behind and got the strike. 10th frame, you can strike out and get in the drawing for Brewers tickets. They both got their first one. Brian's got the second one, bit high, but he carried it. Jim going for his second one. 9 and a wiggle. So Brian needs one more here to strike out and get in the drawing for those Brewers tickets at the end of the season.
I was 2 pins off on my arithmetic from early in the game with Brian. I had him going at a 205 here. 207 with the strike here for Brian. 206. Cost him the Brewer tickets at 4 pin, but he's a winner in the game.
206 for Brian.
178.
And 178 for Jim Miller. So Brian goes on to the championship match against Ron Scheucher. Stay with us. It's coming up after these messages.
This season's high single-game winners will receive one of the following. In the men's division, this 21-inch self-propelled Toro Recycler lawnmower from Gilo's Lawn and Garden, where service follows the sale. And for her, this luxurious leather sofa from Gordon Furniture, the living and family room specialists.
Moms have to get up early to make their rounds.
How's my patient?
They know the way to doctor their family's coughs is with Robitussin. Because more doctors and pharmacists...
116th in Wauwatosa and Highway 20 in Racine, Wisconsin's largest and oldest piano and organ company.
When you brand acid, fight gas right with Gas-X.
Warning. Raise every day of your life. Oil of Olay introduces daily UV protectant. SPF 15 protection. Because over time, unprotected skin can look like this. A moisturizer so like young skin's fluid, it penetrates instantly. Important for healthier, younger-looking skin.
Now, and years from now.
New daily UV protectant.
Rich coffee kissed with the flavor of vanilla. Your mouth will say,
Merci.
Ron Scheucher from New Berlin moves in to bowl against Brian Burgess of Fond du Lac in our championship game today on Bowling with the Champs. Both have been on the show before. Scheucher at the age of 25, a lot of credentials going into this title game here today. He's won a couple of Madison non-pros. He Wisconsin State All-Events champion, the scratch division with 22-31.
Yeah.
Not a bad total, huh?
Yeah, he knocked me off on the last weekend last year. Took that trip to the ABC Masters. Prestigious title.
Here's Brian. Gets a strike on 69. Scheucher elected. He was the high seed, of course, in qualifying. Had his choice of lanes to finish on. He elected to finish on 69 in the 10th frame, which means Brian will be on 70 again in the 10th frame.
And I believe what Ron shot last year was the all-time record, 22-31. I shot like 21-16 a couple weeks before. Thought I was pretty safe, and he beat that by more than 100 pins with a 300 game the very last game.
Yeah, the last game, a 300 game.
That is a lot. That's an average of about 740 something per event, just to give you a little idea.
Amazing. Up, we got to get a pin out of
in the
We'll
gutter.
get that pin out of the channel. If you look down there, you can see one sitting in the channel. And this is going to result in a delay. While we do that, we'll introduce the cornerman.
And that's Ron's corner person. That's Dave Marlowe.
Yep, Dave, he's been on before, and I keep saying this, but a few years back, we did a Bowling with the Junior Champ show for kids that followed this format, and I remember Dave being on that show and shooting a big game. He must have been all of about 15 or 16 at the time, and he shot a real big game. And Ron now going for the spare.
And he's switching to a shinier hard surface urethane to shoot this spare.
And he gets it. So he opens it. And Brian's mom, I believe, up there.
It's Ron's mom.
I mean, Ron's mom. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ron goes over to 69. Ron works for Firestone, the tire and rubber company. Brian is a forklift operator at Valley Warehouse in Fond du Lac. And there's the first strike of the morning for Ron.
And that's Ron's girlfriend.
Did you like that? Brian Burgess with a double in the first and second frames.
And he seems to have figured out lane 70. That's pretty much several strikes in a row for him over there. Not counting the fill ball last game. Let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a 5-bagger on lane 70, not counting the meaningless fill ball.
Looking for 3 in a row. He has them. There's his girlfriend up in the middle of your screen there. She like that.
We'll get a look at Ron's approach. A la Marshall Holman. Watch how he gets that same sort of wrist action as he slides into the foul line. Real low to the line. Look at that wrist straight up through the ball. Ball rolls very similar. These two guys have very similar rolls on the ball, Brian and Ron. A lot of power. Not a super amount of hook, but a lot of power.
All but the 10. The 6 just sat in that channel and wouldn't go anywhere, and so he has another spare to shoot at this time, the 10-pin.
And he'll switch to that harder surface ball here to shoot the 10.
Brian Burgess in a different situation this game than the last one. The last one he had to come from 28 pins down after 4 frames. This game he's going to have the lead, or he has the lead early.
Ron's one of the more improved bowlers you'd find in the state. Last season, he really took a big jump up, winning the state tournament, of course, one of the Madison tournaments, the Willow Creek Classic Team Championship, and he had 4 300 games, including the one at the state last year.
Great year in 90-91.
And, of course, he was on the champs last year.
He says it's a great honor for him to make the show second year in a row. Well, he's done fine on 69, the lane he elected to finish on. 2 strikes there, but he's going at a Dutch 200 pace at the moment, 20-40-60, and now the strike up in the 4th. And his opponent has nothing but X's on the scoreboard as he goes into the 4th frame.
I think it's pretty safe to say that if Ron doesn't find a way to double somewhere in there, he's not going to win this game. Brian is looking good.
But that one came up high.
That one hooked a little early on him. I think he got it wide into the drier track boards, and it just went into its roll earlier. Jumped high.
So nobody's going to win the trip to Hawaii today.
Target score for these guys, 225 from last week's winner, Rick Kelly.
Brian Burgess with a 231 bowling average. And I don't know whether that he picked just one league or that's his composite, but 220 is Ron Scheucher's composite average from last year. That's all the leagues he bowled in, averaged out. Back with a strike on 69 for Brian Burgess.
There's Norb Wetzel up there. Is he going to be in our show next week?
Yeah, they were getting the tomahawk chops up there.
Tomahawk chop.
Yeah, we're taping this. Atlanta playing the Minnesota Twins in the World Series. I'm not going to tell you who won or lost because I don't know at this moment, but you'll know when you see this show play back.
Really needs a carry here, and he gets it.
Ron Scheucher with a strike on 70. Hey, there's Gary Dereshevsky and Gina Porras in the back there.
We know they're engaged.
Mark Wetzel.
Gary recently gave her a ring before his appearance. Of course, he won his set, his bracket. Will be bowling in the first quarterfinal match later on this season.
Ron Scheucher
looks good.
In a row, he's got it. So Scheucher comes back, and what's that sign say? Go shoot fly.
And you can see, I think these guys have learned a little bit by watching some of the shows previous to this year. For example, Dave Albrecht shooting 268, playing deeper inside the third arrow. Both of these bowlers are playing a lot farther inside than what you've seen the last few years. That seems to be where the shot is. That ball crossed right over third arrow.
Yeah, I noticed Ron's came right over third arrow, too, one time there. So Brian with a strike, and we're now getting into a strike shootout, I think.
Kind of what I expected today. Happening a little later than I expected, but...
7-pin lead for Brian Burgess as we go into the 7th frame. To get the 4.
Big time thank you right there. We'll look at it again. I don't know if we'll be able to see what pin this is. This is 4-pin high. 3, 6. I think it might be the 3-pin.
Yeah, sometimes a head pin comes and does that, but not that time. I think you're right. I think it was a 3 that came from the right side.
Not a typical carry shot you'd see. Great break.
Scheucher looking for 4 in a row.
Looks good.
No doubt about that one.
Yeah, I think both of these guys are what we were looking for this year among bowlers, and that's you go from short oil to the new 3 units across the lane rule. They've gone from throwing the big bender out towards the gutter and back to straightening up their shots. The talent showing here. A little different game, but it's still pretty scoreable. Gotta get up.
Another strike for Ron Scheucher. Scheucher in qualifying shot 1767. He was the 5th high qualifier.
He kind of stepped away from that one. I think he thought it wasn't going to make it back. But it did, and snapped the pins around to retake the lead.
5 in a row for him? 5,
yep.
Yeah. Brian Burgess looking for 4 in a row.
To retake the lead. Back and forth.
The strikes are flying.
And we'll look back at some of the highs this year. Strike string, very reachable. Dave Albrecht, 8 in a row, and of course Dave with the 268 game. And we've got Brian Burgess with 4 in a row, can go 277. Ron Scheucher with 5 in a row can go, let's see, 270.
A lot of possibilities here, and both bowlers putting on a demonstration of strike ability. Another one. Yeah, I thought he had maybe the 4-7-10, then maybe the 4-7, and he ends up with a strike.
The shot that he got the 4-pin trip last game was a pretty good shot. This one, I think, he feels like he missed because he really looks surprised. Look at that ball. That's almost dead through the nose, but you get the 2-pin.
There's your 4-7-10.
Yeah, 2-pin comes between and takes the 4 and the 7. 6-pin takes the 10.
Looking for his 6th consecutive
Really needs
strike.
it. Boy, and he got it.
Boy, he's putting on his are in there.
You're seeing an exhibition of pressure bowling here by both these guys.
Yeah, you would think maybe if you're pulling a couple of breaks, that might be a little disheartening to a bowler, but he's just responded by throwing that ball in that 1-3 pocket and carrying.
Okay, situation is this. Ron can strike out for 270 in the 10th, Brian for 277. Whatever Ron does, Brian has to match, basically.
And I'll tell you what, whatever happens, you have to feel sorry for the loser in this one.
To take the lead back.
He's got another one. He's just burying him. What's that, 7 in a row?
Yep.
Over to you, Brian Burgess, he's saying.
Wow. Whoever loses this game can go cry in their beer, considering some of the winning scores we've seen so far this year. This strike here would force Burgess to get 2 strikes himself in the 10th frame.
Will it be 8 in a row?
Good shot. Coming back?
No, he
didn't
was a
make
little
it.
light. Yeah, he's got left 2 pins up there, so Burgess would need.
Burgess is going to need well, assuming a spare here by Ron. Brian's going to need the first strike to win. And that'll be 258.
258, and
it
might
may
lose.
not be enough for Scott Helm, who we'll see later on this year.
Yeah,
a couple weeks from now, I think.
Scott in our audience. And Brian Burgess needs a strike to win the game.
Nice shot.
He leaves the 7 pin.
Wow.
Strikers won.
Yep, 256, the best Brian Burgess can do here. Ouch.
Well, I'll tell you what. You don't cheer from anyone or the other, but I honestly think Scheucher threw more good balls in the 1-3 pocket.
Oh, Brian got a couple breaks where he tripped the 4 out, but I know Ron had one shot where he kind of looked up from it. And he swung a little wide, and it came back and struck.
Well, what a game. What a match here this morning. 258.
No losers in this game. You just have one winner and one guy that got beat.
And there's your winner there, Ron Scheucher. He turned away and couldn't watch that first strike try by Brian.
Can we safely say that was our best match of the season so far?
I would say 258 to 256, and there it is. He just walked away from that. That was right in there.
That's the 4th high game shot this year.
What a game.
Not enough.
258 for Ron Scheucher, 256 for Brian Burgess. We'll be back to talk with our bowlers and award some prize money after this.
The bowlers rolling the longest consecutive string of strikes during one game are eligible for one of the following. For him, a $500 gift certificate from B&G Golf, Bowling, and Racket Sports, your #1 choice for the best in pro-line equipment and accessories. And for her, a $500 gift certificate from Bob's Coins in West Allis, serving collectors and hobbyists for almost 30 years.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, except for a piano from Bradford's Music Center. This holiday season, choose a Baldwin Spinet piano, only $21.99. An elegant Baldwin Grand Piano, $69.95. Or
and Outburst Junior for kids.
Baby words for biological functions.
Is the one that heals and protects. Lubriderm. See you later, alligator.
Presenter invented it.
You can count on Sears for great Christmas values, like this LXI 52-inch projection TV for just $42 a month. Comes with 2 free surround sound speakers, a $100 value, all only $42 a month. Only at Sears Brand Central.
This is Milwaukee's 24-hour news. Freedom may be just around the corner for American hostage Joseph Scipio, and the space shuttle Atlantis is scheduled to come home 3 days early. More news within the hour on News Channel 4.
All right, we're going to review the scores here this morning in game number 1. Brian Burgess, sideline Steve Schultz, 218 to 183. Then in game 2 was Brian over Jim Miller Jr., 206 to 178. And, of course, in game 3 that you just watched, it was 258 to 256, Ron Scheucher over Brian Burgess in quite a finale. And Gloria Bear has joined us out here with some money for the bowlers on behalf of the Red Carpet people, and she starts with Steve Schultz.
Steve from Red Carpet Lane's $25, and I hope to see you again next year.
All right, Steve, and I have a check here for you for $130 from Bowling with the Champs for making this show, and it was your first time on the show. Was it enjoyable?
Yeah, it was real fun. What more can I say, I guess?
Yeah, I thought you threw the ball pretty well, but you didn't carry a great amount.
Yeah, that was during qualifying. I was carrying a lot of those single pin that I was leaving this time, and it carried for me to get here, so that's all I can ask for.
All right, well, we congratulate you on making this show. Anything you want to say before you leave?
I want to thank everybody for coming over, and I got to say hi to my youngest son. He's back in Janesville. He didn't make the trip over.
All right, congratulations, Steve. Jim Miller Jr. moves in here now. Gloria?
Jim Miller from Red Carpet Lanes, $25, and we'll see you next year.
And for Jim, I have a check for $250. And Jim, we were watching you warm up, and you were banging those strikes, but you couldn't quite get enough when the game was on.
Well, Hank, a little bit of carry down that I caught. Plus, I was a little tight. That always happens, and I just couldn't get the ball to get up into the pocket high enough. Just kept leaving the railroad in 3 pins, and can't win like that.
You made most of those spares. I think you missed one of those railroads. But anything you want to say before you leave, Jim?
I want to thank my family for coming down and all my friends from the bowling alleys where I bowl. Thanks for coming. Thanks.
All right, congratulations, Jim. And here's Brian Burgess, Gloria.
Brian from Red Carpet Lanes, $125, and nice bowling this morning.
And Brian, I've got a check here for $325, second prize today, and I have to offer condolences because it's not often a guy rolls a 256 game and loses a game. Would you agree?
Yeah, Ron threw a really good ball. I had a couple breaks, and 10th frame I didn't want to come high, so I moved and I didn't hit the ball at all. He deserved it.
Well, we want to congratulate you. It's outstanding bowling, and you've been on the show more than once. Your guys are doing the tomahawk chop up there for you. Anything you want to say back to them?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and watching me, and especially my grandma. She couldn't be here last year. She's right there in the purple.
Where is she? There's Grandma in the front row. All right, you can see her on there. There's Grandma Burgess. She's smiling a big smile, awful proud of her grandson. Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you. I'd like to also wish good luck to Nora Bledsoe and Mark Schaefer from Fond du Lac. Hopefully one of them can go all the way.
All right. Ron doesn't. Okay, congratulations. And here's Ron Scheucher, Gloria.
Ron from Red Carpet Lanes, $50, and you know how to put excitement in the game. Nice going.
And Ron, we're going to invite Jeff to come over here as well. But I got to ask you, you knew what the situation was. Obviously, you've been bowling long enough. If he got a strike there, you weren't watching that, were you, when he threw his first ball in 10?
No, I was shaking so bad. I was talking to Dave. I had my head down. I couldn't look. I'm just glad it came out for the best.
258 to 256. Have you been in a closer game that you can remember?
That's pretty close. That's the most intense game I've ever bowled.
You had the ball going, you were throwing, he was striking, and you were just answering. You have to be happy with yourself the way you responded.
I'm happy. Everything went well. I was looking forward to this for so long, and now it's finally over.
There, were you watching those to where it works on your mind a little bit?
I never saw him throw a ball. All I saw was him. He threw a spare, and that was it. And I just looked at the scoreboard in the 9th frame, and knew what was going to happen.
Do you do that for that reason?
Yeah, I don't like seeing if they get away with stuff. Just listen to the crowd response.
But wouldn't you think that couldn't you say that maybe you'd learn something from him? You don't buy that theory, huh?
No, I just got to go and throw my own game. That's the best you can do.
There was one shot over on 69 you kind of looked up away from like you thought you got it out too far. Were you surprised?
I sprayed it wide.
Oh.
I got it wide. I got away with one. But I stuck with it and it carried, and that's about it. That's about all I can say, really.
Well, Ron, you had a bunch of people here today, and I'm sure you want to say something to them.
Yeah, I want to thank all you guys, my mom, my dad, all my friends, my cornerman Dave. His wife's going to be due tomorrow. I know this is tape air December 1st. We got to wish him the best, and thanks again. We'll see you next round with everything.
All right, Ron Scheucher winning 258 to 256. That's our show for this week, everybody. See you next Sunday on Bowling with the Champs. Have a good week.
Great bowling.
This season, Travel Glad, in conjunction with Continental Airlines, will award a pair of round-trip tickets to any one of the 88 domestic cities Continental Airlines serves in the lower 48 states. 2 bowlers in the men's division for rolling 10 consecutive strikes during one game, and 2 in the women's division for rolling 8 straight strikes. Bowling with the Champs was brought to you by B&G Golf, Bowling and Racket Sports, your #1 choice for the best in pro-line equipment and accessories. Bowling with the Champs is sanctioned by the ABC and WIBC.
Adventure.